Freak Nation, he is back in the Lucas Oil Studios. Austin Hill, your Atlanta winner, Xfinity Series. And going into that race, I will say this, Austin, that the majority of the Freak Nation had you. They pinned you to win that damn thing. And evidently the Vegas bookies had you winning that damn thing. I think a driver like yourself, do you go into the race going, I've got this. If I don't have it, there's going to be a lot of disappointment?
I wish I could say that, but no, I mean, I always go into, any given weekend with the mindset that, we're going to just try to put ourselves in the right position, stay up front all day with our Bennett Chevrolet, and just try to be there at the end. And we were able to do that. We had a really fast Bennett Chevrolet. Everybody at RCR, ECR has been working extremely hard in the off season to be prepared for the year. And, we started off Daytona with a bang. In the first two stages, was unfortunate that we had the mechanical failure, and then was able to bounce back, in Atlanta. I felt like we had some unfinished business to take care of after how Daytona went for us the week prior. So just extremely excited for, to have the opportunity to race for someone like RCR, everyone at ECR, and to get the win was very special. Obviously, it's always fun to win at my home track in Atlanta, where I grew up racing a lot. But so many emotions were kind of flooding in after the race, just because you never know when you're going to win your next one. You never know if it could be your last one. So each and every race that I do have the privilege to win, we always celebrate, have a good time, and we had a good time Saturday night.
All right, hang on a minute. Kenny, I don't know if you know this, if you guys have heard the rumors that they're renaming Atlanta to AUSlanta, because of your success.
Yeah. I've actually heard some people talk about that. So yeah, I kind of laugh about it when I hear that. I've just been fortunate enough to, win now 5 times at Atlanta. It's not easy. It's hard to do. It's hard to do what we've been able to do, but we've been able to have some success there, and I hope that we have a lot of success the rest of the year.
Austin Hill, Atlanta Xfinity Series winner, joining us here in the Freak Nation 3 times in a row, 5 times total there, of course, with RCR. We were trying to get you Sunday afternoon for an interview, but I think your PR person, Samantha, was smart. You probably hung over all those beers you said you were going to have, right?
Well, I mean, I definitely had a fun time Saturday night. I didn't stay up as late as I probably could have stayed up. I have 2 younger brothers. They stayed up for, I think, until 5 in the morning or something like that. Something crazy. I think I was up until 1:30, but I did have some beers. They were flowing pretty steadily. Anytime that you win a race, the beers flow a lot smoother, and they were going down pretty smooth that night. So my Sunday, I kind of kicked back, relaxed, watched the Cup race. That was an awesome race to watch, and then was able to talk to you guys this morning.
All right, let's tie a few things together here with RCR Racing. You, Kyle Busch, you guys have a common denominator. His name is Derek Nealand. He works his ass off for you guys as your eyes in the skies. So just how comfortable do you feel because of things he's telling you in your ear?
Having somebody like a Derek Nealand up in the spotter stand is, I mean, that is 50% of, being able to win these races. You have to have a, very smart and reliant spotter like I have in Derek. Him and I, from the time that we first started working together in 2022, we hit it off with a bang, winning Daytona our first time out working together, and we really haven't slowed down ever since. Each and every race and each and every year, we seem to get, more in sync than we already are. And it was great. The start of this season, Daytona and Atlanta, there were things that he said on the radio, and before he even got it completely out of his mouth, I already knew exactly what he was telling me. I already knew that, the run was about to come on the inside or the outside, or he was wanting me to change lanes and do all these different things, or if I was getting too far out, making sure that I wasn't getting too far out for the car that was behind me so they wouldn't generate a big run. So, him and I have just worked really great together. And I think that without somebody like Derek, we probably don't win as many races as we have. And, I really, think strongly of him, and hopefully him and I can work, together for a really long time.
There's been a lot of positivity surrounding RCR Racing. We saw some changes made in the offseason, but this past month, whether it's been race weekends or off days, we're seeing a lot of good vibes really translate out in so many facets of the business. To what do you attribute that? And then what should we look forward to, not just on the Xfinity side of things, but maybe also on Cup?
Well, I think you're just seeing a lot of determination with everybody at RCR, the entire organization. At the end of the season, Richard Childress was very big on having a culture change, if you will. And I think we've seen that a little bit here at RCR. RCR has always wanted to win races, and they've been known for winning races. You go back, look at their history. They've won a lot of races. They've won championships. They've done all these things, and we're trying to get back to that. We've been successful on the Xfinity side for the most part. We've been able to win races each and every year. Came up a little short last year for the championship, but we were in the hunt. And I think that's starting to kind of flood on over into the Cup side. And I think this year you will see the Cup cars get better each and every week. It might take some time. This doesn't happen overnight. It's not a snap of the finger type of thing. And I think that you're just seeing people coming to work, and they're ready to put all the effort in each and every day, each and every week, and they want to see the success on both the Xfinity side and the Cup side. And you're seeing that really early in the season right now.
Austin, you just touched on the Final Four, the playoffs. You're already guaranteed into the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. But now, with all this time, are there already things that you're thinking of on maybe how to make changes into your approach from 2024 to 2025?
Well, knowing that we're in the playoffs is great, but the biggest thing is, I try to just take it one race at a time. But looking ahead at the playoffs later in the year, you got to get through that first round with the round of 12, then you got to get to that next round of the round of 8. And those are some of the hardest things to do, is to make it to the round of 4. So, I think that for me, just looking at it, I'm really going to be focused on that first round of 12, those first 3 races, and then try to, transfer to that round of 8, and then get out of that round of 8 like we were able to do last year winning at Homestead. And then when we get in the Final Four, there are things that I've learned from Phoenix weekend that I think I can take into, this coming up season if we're able to make it in the Final Four. I think that we had a car capable of winning that race and capable of winning the championship. There's just some things that, we should have done a little differently, communication on the radio, just that type of thing that we need to clean up on our end. And if we can do that, I think that we could come out on top. But we got a long year ahead of us. I'm ready for it. It's going to be a fun year. Have a new crew chief with Chad Haney on top of the box. That's been fun already with the 2 races that we have under our belt. Was able to get him his first ever NASCAR Xfinity Series win as a crew chief. So that was really neat. And we're hitting it off in stride already.
Austin Hill, Xfinity Series winner from Atlanta, joining us here in the Freak Nation. And when you listen to during the race or towards the tail end of the race, when Richard Childress drivers are fighting for a win, you'll hear Richard chime in on the headset, whether it's you, Love, Kyle, Austin. When does Richard choose to get in your ear in a race car during a race?
Well, I've been fortunate enough for him not to get into my ear during a race. I know that he likes to be on Channel 2 a lot, and he'll talk to our crew chiefs, engineers, all those guys, and just trying to know what we're thinking. Are we thinking, are we going to take 2 tires, 4 tires? Do we think it's going to be a fuel mileage race? He is so in tune with what is going on at the racetrack, and he's been around for a long time. So he's not dumb, when it comes to, racing. And so he just wants to kind of to paint him the picture of what we're thinking here. And he'll have some input on what he thinks. If he doesn't agree with it, he'll definitely let you know it. But I've been fortunate enough that he hasn't gotten into my ear. Now, we've had some talks after the races. We've had some talks back at the shop. But he is such a great leader. Racing for somebody like Richard Childress is just an honor, and I hope to be able to do that for a really long time.
Got to ask you something about the Cup Series. There, of course, a lot of discussion in regards to Carson Hocevar and him, a bull in a china shop through a few cars.
He just laughs.
Listen, you've not been shy about about your opinion on certain drivers. And I'm not saying that you've been the softest driver out there either, Austin. But when you watch Carson Hocevar, his second year in the Cup Series, the dude's still learning. I thought he was put up too early anyway, but I'm not paying the money here. But when you watch a guy like Carson Hocevar explore this Cup Series, what's your take on how he's racing these other Cup guys?
Well, I mean, he definitely shows the aggression level, and I'm not ever going to tell a driver that they shouldn't be aggressive. I'm obviously one of the more aggressive drivers in the Xfinity series, but I also try to do it with a little respect at the same time, if you know what I mean. Like I try not to make a lot of people mad, even though I am aggressive, and even though maybe at times I do make people mad. But you know what I saw at Atlanta, that there was quite a few drivers that were pretty mad at the situation at hand. So yeah, I think he has a lot to learn. Obviously, he's a good driver. He can run up front. He can run up front in the Cup Series apparently. So you know, maybe he'll get it figured out. If not, somebody might figure it out for him. I don't know, but it's definitely interesting to follow along, and I'm just glad that I don't have to race him each and every week, because I think him and I would butt heads.
Well, here's the deal, though, and it kind of, we're trying to help fans realize that, yes, it's okay to be aggressive, but you just nailed it. You need to be respectfully aggressive, no matter what series you're driving in, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he turned the 12 car, and I know he said that he went left when I went right or whatever, but he basically just ran into the back of him and turned him around. And you really just can't do things like that, especially in the Cup Series. They don't put up with that stuff on the Cup side. So yeah, I mean, there's a way of being aggressive. There's a way of sticking your nose into certain situations when the time's right, and then there's also times that you don't need to. And you know what he did at the very end of the race, going for the win, I'm all for that. I mean, you want to hang it all out on the line, and you want to try to push the 20 down in the corner and use up anybody that you need to, because you're going for the win. But you know, certain situations on the racetrack, when you turn a guy and almost wreck the whole field, that's where it gets a little iffy.
You know, I just think it's funny, Austin, that Ross Chastain walks over to Carson Hocevar, giving him advice on how not to be aggressive. That's like Richard Childress walking up to you, putting your arm around and saying, you know what, you shouldn't drink wine, Austin.
Yeah, right. You know, I know that Ross and Carson are pretty good buddies, so he's probably going over there just kind of patting him on the back a little bit, and you know, trying to tell him a few things that he's learned throughout his career. So yeah, I hear you on that, on the Richard Childress and the wine drinking thing.
Love it.
Well, buddy, we know a lot of people are clamoring for you to get you on their show. We appreciate you taking time out, you and Samantha making this thing work for us, man.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. It's always fun coming on here at Freak Nation and having a good little conversation with you guys.
Attaboy. Are you still hungover?
No, I'm good to go now. I'm ready to go racing.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.